Vi ses, vi hörs, vi träffas. What do all these phrases mean and what do they have in common? Let's find out together. Let's start with vi ses. We ses, to see each other. Vi ses can be translated to many different ways depending on the situation. But it's like saying let's see each other, or the shorter version, see ya. We say vi ses a lot in Sweden after you say goodbye to someone. Hej då, vi ses. A bit like the hasta luego or hasta la vista in Spanish, but without the baby.
Hasta la vista.
When a Swede says vi ses, it doesn't have to mean that you're actually gonna see each other again. Sometimes it's just used to sound polite, but hopefully they do mean it. Other common phrases: hoppas vi ses snart igen, hope we will meet again soon. If a Swede says or writes this, then you can be pretty sure that they want to see you again. Or if you want to complain to that Swedish friend that is always busy: vi ses aldrig numera. We never see each other nowadays. And hopefully when you say this, they will answer: vi kan ses nästa vecka. We can see each other next week. They will most likely never say vi kan ses idag, because Swedes aren't famous for being very spontaneous. We like to plan things ahead, minimum 1 week ahead. That's why it's good to learn the phrase vi kan ses nästa vecka. And the Swede might also remind you before meeting that you will meet even if you already talked about it. Sometimes they send you messages like this: visst ses vi fortfarande imorgon? We're still seeing each other tomorrow, right? Or they can write you the day before to confirm the exact time and place. Vi ses imorgon klockan 2 vid Åhléns, which kind of means let's see each other tomorrow at 2 outside of Åhléns, which is a very famous meeting point here in Stockholm. So now that you know how you can use vi ses, let's talk about the grammar behind it. The word ses comes from the verb att se, to see. However, ses is the reciprocal version of this verb. And if you want to know more about these reciprocal verbs and how they work, then you can take this online video course that we made about it. But to sum up, ses is our way of saying to see each other. And like all reciprocal verbs, you add an s in the end. And what is also important with these kind of verbs is that they can only be used in plural. So you would never say jag ses. Only vi ses, ni ses, eller de ses. Let's now move on to our next reciprocal expression, and that is vi hörs. And you will hear this a lot. Let's now see what it means. We hörs, to hear each other. So vi hörs kind of means let's hear from each other, but it would be the Swedish way of saying let's keep in touch. Like in these examples. Vi hörs senare ikväll. Let's keep in touch later tonight. Vi hörs på måndag. Let's keep in touch on Monday. And sometimes just hej då, vi hörs. Bye, let's keep in touch. In general, if a Swede says vi hörs after hej då, it's just a polite way to say goodbye. It doesn't necessarily need to mean that you will keep in touch. But if they add a day, a time and a place to this vi hörs, then they will most certainly keep in touch with you. Like in this example. Vi hörs imorgon klockan 8 på telefon. Let's keep in touch or let's talk to each other tomorrow at 8 on the phone. Who will call who can be a bit unclear when they say this. It really doesn't matter who calls who as long as you're able to talk to each other. Now, let's leave vi hörs for a while and talk about another similar expression that might be one of the most confusing expressions in Swedish. Jag hör av mig till dig. What does this really mean? The literal translation to this could be something like I hear of me to you. And this is our way to say I will keep in touch with you. It's like we are saying I will make a sound that you can hear from me that is to you. This might sound a bit weird, I know, but just accept it, okay? The important part is this. If a Swede says to you, jag hör av mig till dig, then you just need to wait for them to contact you. And if they say hör av dig till mig, then they want you to contact them. The reciprocal version of this, vi hörs, it's a little bit easier since it means let's keep in touch. And here it doesn't really matter who makes the first attempt to keep in touch as long as somebody does it.
Should I call him? No.
Let's do a test now. First phrase. Jag hör av mig till dig. What does this mean? Should I contact you or should you contact me? Let me know in the comment section below. Second phrase. Hör av dig till mig. What about here? Should I contact you or should you contact me? So, let's move on to our next expression. And that is vi träffas. And just like all the other expressions, this also includes a reciprocal verb. Vi träffas to meet each other. For example, if I say vi kan träffas imorgon klockan 3. We can meet each other tomorrow at 3. And this expression, vi träffas, is very often used in the past, and that would be vi träffades. Very common if someone asks you how you met your partner. Hur träffades ni? Vi träffades på en svenska kurs med Fun Swedish. How did you meet? We met at a Swedish course with Fun Swedish. I don't want to brag, but I'm actually very proud to tell you that we actually have had students falling in love in our Swedish courses, or people meeting their best friends there. So maybe another reason to join our courses. We actually have new live courses starting after summer. And if you can't wait until summer, then you can take our online video courses. Here are the links to these courses. Moving on, like we said, vi träffas is a reciprocal verb. So if you want to say that you have met someone, then you need to say jag träffade and not jag träffades. Because again, the reciprocal version träffades can only be used with vi. Vi träffades, ni träffades, de träffades. Or with these examples. Jag träffade min partner på en svenska kurs. Vi träffades på en svenska kurs. Notice that we add an s when we use the reciprocal version of this verb, träffades. Moving on to our last reciprocal verb and expression. Vi möts. We meet each other. We möts, meet each other. And I will say that vi möts is a little bit more used when you talk about meeting at a specific meeting points, like in this example. Du kommer från jobbet och jag kommer från gymmet. Vi kan mötas vid tunnelbanan och åka hem tillsammans. And we can meet at the subway and ride back home together. Or as a question, var ska vi mötas? Where shall we meet? Utanför tunnelbanan, outside of the subway. And you might ask yourself here, can I use träffas instead of möts? Yes, you can. But I would say that mötas would be a little bit more correct to use if you are referring to people coming from different directions, trying to meet up at a specific meeting point. Let's look at more examples. Jag möter dig vid tunnelbanan. Vi möts vid tunnelbanan. And notice that we use the reciprocal version of this verb when we have personal pronouns such as vi, and not when we say jag, which again is the difference between a reciprocal verb and a normal verb. So this was a little introduction to what we call reciprocal verbs and phrases. And there are of course more of these, such as kramas, pussas, skiljas, umgås. But if you want to learn more about them, then I highly recommend you to take this online video course where we talk about it. Hej då, vi ses snart igen. And before you go, please put a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done it yet.